All right. Hello. Okay, guys, we are back and we're setting up our tools. All right. Okay, perfect. Sorry about that. Okay, cool. Right. So, yes, finally. So, first of all, I'd like to greet everyone Merry Christmas and thank you for joining us here in our December 26th episode of our daily stock market insights. And I hope for those people who have joined us earlier, please do come back. Welcome. Daniel, thanks for joining us back again. Let me just share our link in our post here. Mhm. Here's the updated link. Okay, and I will just edit because, of course, most of our listeners here are from our Facebook page, Invest in the Stock Market, and of course, in our Instagrams account. Uh, let's just wait for them for a few minutes. Just 1 minute, guys. And so we can start, all right? Thank you for your patience. Okay, so yeah, if you have, by the way, if you have any requests, feel free to drop a comment and let me know what your requests are so I can prioritize. Otherwise, if you're okay with the flow, what I would normally do here is just sort it according to the stocks that we have in the Philippine market, and I sort it according to the highest to the lowest. Okay, so and then we work our way downwards, right? If that's fine with you, we can go ahead and start. Okay, so let's talk about MWC. Okay, so finally, uh, yep, the downtrend is, I assume the downtrend is already over for this stock, and there's another bullish bullish movement for this stock today, and this is like 17.85%. All right, 17.85% increase in just a day. Now, if some people will take profit, I would assume that the nearest possible support that we now have is right at this area, 7.59 to 7.60. That will be the new support, as I see that uh, it made a consolidation right in this area just in case uh, it gets, or the market gives you a chance in this area. This is already a good entry price. Now the next possible resistance that this might face would be, of course, around your MA20 line. So if you want, just be extra careful. Just go within the flow, or the nearer you are to the 7.59, in fact around 8 pesos level, it's already very cheap. And what I can say here is just do trade, okay? Just trade this for now, because uh, there's still, there are a lot of talks around this company, and for as long as you see, uh-huh, like if you feel that okay, this is already out of the woods in terms of controversy, then that's the time we talk about long term here. But definitely, if you feel that the fundamentals, Manila Water Company, if the fundamentals is good for you, definitely this is at a very cheap level for this stock. Okay, and it's already a bounce. Next would be MPI back to back with MWC. Between the two, I would say I would go for MPI. I'd go for MPI number one because the reason why this got involved in that controversy is because this is the same, technically the same mother company, and that's why it got linked. Now, in terms of cost, MPI, you can get more shares out of your 3.58 than MWC's 10 pesos, right? 10.10. Now, if you'd like, I'd have to say currently you will have to, of course, check this one out, because when you're moving below your MA20 line, your MA20 will act as a resistance. So your condition is this has to cross the MA20 level before we can say, okay, it will continue to move up, because it might repeat this um, pattern, okay, where you see in this area each time it touches, not technically touch, but as we go near your MA20 line, there's a rejection that's happening. Right now, for today's market, there's a slight rejection, as people might have felt that, okay, this is MA20 line, and before people start to sell, some of them might have already sold it. But in case, if in case this retraces, you can use a, let's see, let's observe if this thing will bounce right in this area. Okay, on a weekly chart, this really looks attractive now. So this thing has to end above this red line over here, based on the concept that we follow in the Bollinger Band. So the next three candlesticks will be very critical, and these candlesticks should end engulfing this red one. Now, just in case, of course, we still have until tomorrow. Okay, so if the market moves, just fluctuates within the area from 3.28 to 3.58, anywhere near that would be already a good time to start. Okay, I'm saying start accumulating volume. I'm not saying put all your funds, all your buying power in just one transaction. I'd say start accumulating, because we really cannot tell. This might move on a sideways before it gives us a bullish movement, okay, or a bull run. So this was our opportunity. The market gave us an opportunity when it went all the way down here, and now it's reversing. Okay, now let's talk about DMC. DMC has the same, it's looking similar. The three companies are looking almost the same pattern. And now we finally crossed the MA20 line for DMC, which is very good. So what do I recommend for this one? Promising movement, promising pattern for DMC right over here. So if the market gives you a chance at the 6.25 level, I think that is already an okay entry, and start accumulating volume. Imagine this, guys. Look at that. From November 2018 to a little like 1 year, 63.87% decrease. So, and those people who may have exited, I hope these lessons are, I only have two things that I would always recommend when I do my charts here. If your objective is to trade, make sure that you have set plans. You know when to exit in case the direction or the movement negates, okay, goes against your analysis. And before you even enter, okay, before you even enter, you know when to exit. And when it's time to exit, you exit. Otherwise, let's say you set a 3 to 5% as a threshold. If you go beyond that, I don't recommend exiting. Okay, wait for the right timing to move up. And yes, there's a consequence to all our actions here. Now, if you fail to exit at the right time, then so be it. Let it stay there. If you have more funds, you add more funds when it's ready to reverse. If not, just wait for it to reverse. The downside, of course, we have to face the fact you're losing time and opportunities for more profitable trades. But it's up to you. Are you willing to let go of that amount? Let's say 15% on a negative, 20% on a negative. If not, that's your hard-earned money. So probably let it stay there, or if you want, you could create a brand new account. What's important is, you're not losing it, because someday this thing might happen, right? After a year of dormancy, no action on a decline, right now it's giving us this bullish signals that it might this time around continue to bounce up. Okay, so on a separate discussion, I can also share to you guys how you can average down without spending a lot, or you can even use your existing account to average down. Okay, all right, Ivan, good evening. Okay, let's talk about Vulcan and SMPH. This is for you, Ivan. Vulcan. Okay, for Vulcan, this is the nearest support that I can see. Okay, the reason for that is because of this. Okay, we have a resistance here, and almost there. It touched that level, and then now in the past 3 days, it touched this area, and yep, and we have a green. So most likely we might bounce, but the next resistance that it will challenge is of course this MA20 line. So if the market gives us a chance tomorrow, let's say, and does not break the 17.44 level, then we're good. We're at the support area. But if it goes lower than that, as I mentioned earlier, execute your stop loss or cut loss plans. How low can you accept as a, let's say, loss, right? Let us say it goes 3%, and if it reaches, let's say, 16.86 tomorrow, exit the trade, because it negated our assumption that this is already a support. Okay, so if you want, try to accumulate, just do test buys for now, because I feel that this is already a promising movement, but also do range trading perhaps, because your nearest resistance is right at the MA20 line, around 18.40. Okay, and yep, that's our analysis. 17.45 as a support, nearest resistance is 18.41, because we're not 100% sure if it will break that. Otherwise, when there's a weakness that's going to happen around 18.41, you might even have something like this: lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. Okay, sometimes it happens like that. So that is why I would always say the nearest resistance, because in the Philippine market, our volume is very, very slim, and seldom do we have a very massive increase in price performance. SMPH. Let's talk about SMPH. Okay, now your SMPH over here is currently sitting at a resistance area. So I would have to say this stock will rest, and we just do not know yet how far it will dip, but the nearest that I can see is of course your MA20 line. Okay, two signals. Number one, this being a resistance, and of course MA20 as a rule of thumb that can act as your possible area of bounce. Okay, look at this pattern over here, Lloyd. So look at this. It respects your MA20 line. Okay, that being a bounce area, with the exceptions of this one, because that can also happen. It overshoots and then moves up. Okay, so let's see again if it will uh, respect your MA20 line at least. You know that right now there's a bearish or a sign of weakness. Do not enter yet, right? The next one is AGI by Banalin. Hello. AGI. Okay, guys, I would have to say AGI has been giving us really um, promising pattern. Share buyback. Hold on. Very interesting. I know when a stock does share buyback, this means that let me just check out. Okay, that would mean their performance is doing better. Just correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I can remember before. Um, they'll buy some more shares from the public, lowering the supply in the market, and that means when the supply is lower, the price will of course become more expensive. Plus the pattern. This is a very good pattern. Your Bollinger Band is so constricted, giving us very, very minimal movement. And when that thing happens, it will explode. It will explode to the upside or to the downside. Given the pattern that we have right now, it will potentially explode on the upside. Okay, because the most of the movements are happening above the MA20 line. Why did I say that? Look at this pattern before. This was constricted, and this is also constricted. Now this was constricted, but the movement were mostly or the sentiment is more on the downside. So what happened next? Very massive downward movement. Now we're seeing the same performance. It's constricted, but most of the sentiment is happening on the upside. So if you would like and you find this really attractive, start accumulating volume. Okay, around 11.30 area, that would be a great entry price. Yeah, 11.30 level. Okay. I'm losing the line. Where did that line go? Anyway, so that's what we see and feel for AGI. Okay, now let's go back to the next stocks. Put that in your, by the way, put that in your watch list. I talked about DMC. Let's talk about AC. AC, very good move. Okay, massive movement. Just looks massive. Um, But this is what we really expect when we talked about blue chip companies, because the volume is high, so there are a lot of buy sell that's happening. So 2% will really look massive in terms of its candlestick. Okay, but now, okay, let's go back. What are we expecting from this one? Look at this. Notice, okay, this stock respects your MA20 line. Each time it touches your MA20, there's some kind of rejection that's happening. And the same thing happened in today's candlestick. So I would have to say that maybe we need to be be extra careful. So, and make your condition, probably what you can say is that when the market starts tomorrow and then the price starts much, or the price starts higher than 800, and then officially crosses your MA20 line, something to this effect, then you can say you now have a brand new wave, and we now have an official bounce. Okay, because 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, so that's your condition. You can probably create that type of rule. I will only enter if the price starts higher than 800, and most of the action happens on the upside, because that's one probability. Second probability is it will go down, go back down here, and create and strengthens your support around the 759 level, 751 to 752 level. Okay, so those are the two probabilities. Good evening, Irene. Insights to Bloom, Tech, and Tell. Okay, let's do that. Okay. Uh, Let me just refresh this because my tools on the left side got removed. Okay, so let's talk about Bloom. Okay, thanks for joining us, Irene. Is this your first time here? For those of you guys who are here tonight for the first time, I'd like to invite all of you to please subscribe to our channel, and yeah, so you're always updated, and you know that there's this very simple YouTuber who's doing live insights every single day for all of you guys. Oops, let me just load my chart. We have a chart that's already saved here. Okay, Bloom. Okay, let's see. Okay, Bloom has officially crossed your MA20 line, so I'm bullish that this will continue to move on the upside. All right, the reason why I plotted it here, this will be your support, because previously this was your support, consolidation happening in this area, that each time it touches that level, there's a floor that's preventing for the price to go further down. Okay, unfortunately, it at one point it did break down, but your previous support becomes a resistance. So normally that's how it is. Okay, now the reason why we're seeing that right now is that we're moving above the MA20 line, and with these two conditions over here, it will just normally repeat itself. It will create another support here because we're now moving above that line. So your previous resistance will now become your support again. And while it's true that we moved by 1.8% today, excuse me, your nearest resistance will be around 11.49 to 11.50 level. So if you'd like, you can do range trading. If the market gives you a chance around this level, 11, 11, 11 to 11.02 to 11.49, you can do that for now. Okay, so I'm not saying you exit this right away. Okay, what I'm saying is when it touches this level and you see a bearish candlestick, that's a sign of weakness. This is a perfect example. This is a bearish candlestick. That's what we call a a shooting star. That when this comes out at the resistance area, that will give us a sign that it will continue to, it will now change in direction from an upward direction to downwards. So observe if that thing happens again when it touches 11.49. If it doesn't, that means we'll now have a brand new wave, which is going to look like this, continue to go up, and then stabilize your support in your previous resistance, and then continues to go up again. So normally that's just the cycle. Okay, let's talk about tech. Tech, okay. Tech is currently stabilizing within the area. I think this will go down, and let's just hope that it will not go any lower than 3.82. So this is what I was saying previously, guys. So you see here, for a long time we have been moving just below or just right at the oversold level. Okay, so we still have to observe, even though it's already in the oversold area, if your RSI is not giving us any signal that it is now going to bounce, just stay calm, relax, as it might linger in that area for quite some time before it moves up. Okay, like this one, it went down over here, but really no signal that it will reverse or change its direction. So 3.82 is still my um, imaginary support. Okay, wow, this has been on a decline for a long time. At one point it even reached a 55 in price. Okay, now if you expand it further, right, so what we did is we're doing back testing now. If you expand it further, I've noticed something. Look at this price right back in July 2019. Of course, we're currently on a massive downward movement, but here it's already giving us this, we're a little higher than the previous uh, point. Okay, when it did actually over here, if you come to think of it, when it gave us this signal right over here, there's this bounce that happened. Okay, so look at that. So it validated the concept that when the price goes up, your RSI, I mean, when your price moves down, your RSI goes up, then you might face a possible um, bounce soon. But it doesn't really give you a specific indication as to by how many percent, right? But it did bounce. Okay, so now what we need to do further is just observe if expanding it this time around, because if you're to look at it in a much longer time frame, you already have a slight increase in the price. So I would have to say, as a conclusion, if it will go further down, I would say it will not go that deep anymore, because you are already at a very cheap level for this one. But I'm not saying you enter now, because we need to see stabilization first to happen before you enter, because right now it's not giving us that. Okay, let us say tomorrow it goes down and stops right at the 3.82 level, then I'd say, okay, now your support is becoming stronger and stronger because 1, 2, 3 days straight, or yeah, it's slightly higher, but third time around it touched the same area, and that makes its support even stronger. Okay, so wait and see is the game for tech. Tell. Tell is this is your support for Tell. It just went back to the support, guys. Okay. If I'm to draw this, it might create some sideways movement here first before it crosses your MA20 line. Okay, so if you would like to enter Tell, the safest entry price would be actually if you see a green candlestick tomorrow, that would mean this support is going to sustain. 999.50 is for me already a good entry price because overall it's trying to stabilize at this level. I think it won't reach this part anymore. This is, I think, the lowest point. Okay, 999.50. Okay, all right. I think remove drawing tools. Okay, you had a doji. What's this? Yeah, a doji can also signify a sign of change in direction. And by the way, we're in the weekly chart. So what we need to wait for now is, since this ended outside of your lower Bollinger Band, what we need to see for this week is for the price to end much higher than this red candlestick, and that should already be good to go for a sign of reversal or change in direction. TBGI. Okay, so that's for you, Irene. TBGI. Let's check out the daily. Okay, TBGI is still moving sideways, and this is the support. Yep. Okay, your RSI is already starting to move in an upward direction, while at this point, from this point to this point, while the price was moving downwards, your RSI is starting to gain momentum, and as you can see, this is normally how it happens, right? Price going down, stabilize within the area before it goes up again. So I think this is what's happening. While the price went down, it might stabilize within the area before it goes up. So our support, watch and see, around 0.2651. There's a big chance the market will give you a chance at that area. If you believe in TBGI, this is a perfect time to start accumulating volume. Hi Rhea, good evening. Thank you guys for joining me. Merry Christmas, by the way. I have not greeted everyone. Okay, so just go ahead. I think I have reviewed the initial requests. So if you don't have any specific request, I'd like to go back to our stocks right over here. So we sort this according to highest to lowest in terms of the number of trades. So we were able to review MWC, And very briefly, they're now starting to show positive movements along with MPI and DMC. And just a rule of thumb for MPI, just be extra careful when you see signs of weakness around the MA20 line. Um, it might go back downwards. But if it crosses the MA20 level, starts above that, then you might see some more bullish movements in the coming days. DMC also giving us good signs that we're already changing a direction to the upside. We're currently moving at or above the MA20 line. AC, be extra careful. Same condition as MPI. If it goes higher than the MA20 line, then you might have a brand new direction now to the upside. Otherwise, if tomorrow is a red candlestick, it might go down again and see 752 or 753 area. Okay, now let's talk about Ali. Ali is, of course, your key area to watch out for would be your MA20 line. And the reason why we plotted it there, very obvious right over here. Price landing in this area. Of course, stabilization right at this area, and the fact that it is MA20. MA20 can either act as your support or your resistance. And because our candlestick is currently above the MA20 line, that means your MA20 can act as your support. Okay, and I feel that tomorrow the market will potentially give us a chance around 45.71 before it continues to go up. So your condition is, if you enter around 45.71 before you even enter a trade, you have to have a clear mindset that if it negates and goes further down, how deep can you go and tolerate? 3%, 5%? If it reaches your stop loss level, execute the exit. Otherwise, if it goes further down and your negative goes bigger and bigger, I am in no position to say exit because that's your hard-earned money. That's why it's critical to be strict with your stop loss and cut loss levels. ICT. Okay. This is a very obvious and very simple to analyze chart. Okay. This stock respects your MA20, number one. When it touches this level, it moves up. So I'm thinking we might see some more bullish movements for this stock. But at its current price, we're not 100% sure that it will continue to go up or it will create some chance right at the MA20 line before it continues to go up. But definitely I am seeing that it might give us some minimal movements first before it goes up. Same thing here, right? So now the reason why we said that this is your possible support, very simple. Previously this area acted as your resistance and support over here. So normally when your support your previous support, when it breaks that, it will now become your resistance. And because we're moving above the resistance, your previous resistance will now become your support. Okay, there you go. Right, so JFC. JFC is just resting, you guys, so don't panic. If the market gives you a chance around 209, even better. Okay, so 207, 208, that's around that area. So that is the support that we are seeing for JFC. I feel that the market will still give you a chance to enter this area before it finally goes up, because overall you are at a very cheap level for JFC, and the market, this is the time. At this time the market is just giving us a chance to enter at a discounted price. 207 for me is a reasonable price to enter at. Fruit, let me see. Okay, fruit is now giving us a bullish movement, right? Engulfing, and now continues to go up. And yep, so the nearest resistance that I see for the stock is 1.41. Definitely, there was a gap down here. It will fill that gap. So most likely tomorrow it might continue to move up, but I don't speak of long term here. The stock for now is just good for trading. There are so many traders who engage in this stock. So be extra careful as this might happen again. Now, if the market gives you a chance back here at the support level, 1.06, even better. Okay, so wait and see as to which movement it is going to happen now. Okay, we're still at a very cheap level. Look at that. Our threshold here for oversold versus overbought. Our oversold is right at the 30-ish area, and still we're very near your oversold, so it's still very cheap. Okay, MBT. MBT. Okay, let us see if it will cross your MA20 line. But still, I'd like to stick to this as your resistance. Actually, your MA20 is a resistance as well, because we're still below that line. So that's your first resistance. Second resistance is your 68. If tomorrow the price starts above 67, then the next area to challenge would be 68.18 before it moves further up. Okay, now overall, what can you say about MBT? Well, MBT is a very established company in the Philippines, and it's one of the blue chip companies included in the index, our PSCI. And let us see if it will also have the same fate as what we have in PSEI. Looking at PSEI right now, we have officially crossed the MA20 line, and this means that the sentiment of the market is now on the bullish side. Most likely, our blue chip companies will start to move upwards. Okay, better pricing, better prices for our blue chip companies. Okay, now, and of course it will, looking at the pattern right now for our PSCI, chances are our foreign investors will find this very attractive, and they will start investing in the Philippine stocks. Okay, so that's just how it is, and MBT is also part of it. BDO next is definitely part of our blue chip companies. Okay, so yeah, let's treat this as our support for our BDO. Okay, you're also right, sitting at the resistance, short-term resistance, that is for BDO. This is your MA20 line, so your condition is we want this to start higher than 157.40, ideally 158, and then most of the action happens on the upside. Then we can say it is now going to continue its direction on the upside. But where's your short-term resistance? Of course, right over here. So it's an obvious line where you see price stopping at, and this area is like your ceiling. Okay, a resistance is like your ceiling, that when it touches that level, there's some kind of a rejection that's happening. And true enough, that's what we have observed here. Each time this area is hit, there's a rejection that's happening. Okay, so this is your support, this is your resistance. SECB. Okay, SECB has officially bounced. Good job, SECB. But of course, you have your MA20 over here. So if let us say some traders will take profit, I think a reasonable entry price would be. I don't expect that it will go further down as low as this one, but this area is, I think, an okay, already okay area to start accumulating volume if the market gives us a chance here. But if it crosses that line and most of the action happens on the upside, well, the next area that it will challenge would be this. That's your resistance. If the price starts above MA20 tomorrow. And here goes ISM. ISM is starting to look attractive. Your foreign buying is already happening with 8.71 increase in the price today. So let us see. I would have to say check if you have some weakness around 3.60. Hope not. Hope it crosses that line. If weakness happens, or let's say tomorrow price hits this level and ends red, then it might go back to, of course, this area 3.04. I think it won't go any further than that, but let's touch base again when it does. But for now, short term wise, this is your support and this is the first resistance it will challenge. 3.02 against 360. How much is that? This is a trader mindset for now. 18%. But for those who believe in the fundamentals and the potential of ISM, start accumulating volume. You're already at a very cheap level. SMPH, we talked about this. There's a sign of weakness right over here. This is currently at the resistance area and it might revisit your MA20 line. Hope it doesn't break your MA20 line. If not, then we'll see again which area will it land. Probably 39.14 or 10. Yeah. Okay. Meg. Meg is giving us some signs of hope. Going down, the RSI is moving up. So that means it might stabilize within the area first, sideways, before it goes up. So let me plot our support right at the 4 pesos area. Okay. It might linger in that area before it changes its direction. JGS. For JGS, this is your previous resistance. Now we're sitting at the MA20 line. So hopefully it just creates a support right at this level. This used to be a resistance, guys. Over here, very obvious line. And previous resistance will now act as your support if this doesn't break. Okay? But if most of the action happens to the downside here tomorrow, your next support will be right over here. Wait for it to create and stabilize at a new support before you enter. Don't say like, okay, it crossed below 78 level, so it's cheap. Nope. We need to first validate whether we are now entering at a support area. AEV, your support is right at the MA20 line. There. 50.91. Yep. 50.91. Resistance here. MA20 here. Resistance here. Okay. Here as well. So 50.91 is an area to watch out for. The next one would be, so guys, if you have a request, don't forget. Let me just validate. Maybe my signal is again not updating my comments. Our comments. Miss JD. Okay. Okay, if you have some comments, guys, or requests, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just continue. Tell, I already talked about it. URC, you're currently sitting at the support area for URC. There you go. 146.79, that's the support that we currently see. Hopefully it doesn't break that. Okay, we're now moving above the MA20 line, so that's a good sign. We might see some more movements now on the upside. It has been on a bearish sentiment since when? July. Okay. The next one is AGI. Yeah, I talked about this. Put this in your watch list, guys. Nickel also starting to trigger your upper band. Yeah, but in case the market gives you a chance right at 3.19 level, 3.20, 3.19, that's already a good area to buy. Well, if you want to be super safe, 3.09. Yep, you have a resistance here as well at 3.09 and the previous support. Okay, so I feel good at 3.09. In case this stock rests, the ideal entry price would be 3.09. Okay, do we have any other requests? Okay, so we now have reached the top of the hour, and in the meantime, I'd like to say thank you, everyone. For those who have not subscribed yet, please do subscribe and support our channel. Hit the subscribe, like our video, and share this to your friends, your trading groups, your Facebook groups, and so we can start influencing. Okay, let's start influencing our family and friends, and let them know that it's okay to engage in the stock market. It's not gambling. There are so many perspectives here. Okay, so you could be a trader, but you can also be an investor. Okay, so thank you for now. Good evening, and you take care. And let's chat again tomorrow. Okay, bye bye for now.